What is good, Raider Nation? Is your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. Today I wanted to talk about the latest news. Antonio Pierce wasted no time this morning in the press conference. It has been officially announced that the Raiders superstar edge rusher Max Crosby and superstar wide receiver Davante Adams will miss Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns at Allegiant Stadium. It also appears like Michael Mayer will miss as well. So wow, just an absolute bombshell of news for the Raiders. And I'm gonna be quite honest, this is a bad news for the Raiders. This will be Max Crosby's first game that he's ever missed for the Raiders, and it's really going to be a big blow for this team. Now with Max Crosby, we saw last week he's been dealing with some type of ankle injury. He played last week against the Carolina Panthers, but you could just tell he didn't look like himself. He wasn't 100% out there, and it definitely showed on the field. But it's a situation where we want Max Crosby to be out there, but if he's just going to be out there and play the same type of way he did last week, if he's not able to be his true self, then it may just be better for him to sit down, let that ankle heal up before he gets onto the football field. One thing about the NFL is if you have an injury and you keep playing with it, it's not going to get better down the road during the season. So definitely very unfortunate, but it seems like it was necessary. But like I said, it's going to be a huge blow for this team, and it's very concerning to me because you saw last week Max Crosby not being at 100%. Well, this week he's just not going to be out there at all on the field. And just having him out there on the football field, opposing offenses have to respect him. The quarterback on every single play pre-snap is going to look and see where Max Crosby is. They're going to double team him. They're going to have a running back on that side to try to chip him. But with Max Crosby not being on the field, the opposing offense won't have to worry about this. And really, I mean, the defensive line group is very concerning. We have not done a good job stopping the run. And Max Crosby is pretty good against the run, so you're not going to get that from his game next week. And the biggest thing is the pass rusher room, the edge rusher position that we have currently. We just have a bunch of inexperienced guys out there that haven't been able to get it done throughout 3 weeks. We're going to have to rely on Charles Snowden. We're going to have to rely on Janarius Robinson, and we're going to have to rely on Tyree Wilson, who is a player that has been very disappointing thus far, especially on the edge. But that's what we're going to have to do. It's going to have to be a next man mentality for this team, but it's going to be super difficult to replace that void with Max Crosby. And this injury will be something that we're going to have to keep monitoring down the road. I'm sure they're going to take it a week by week basis with Crosby, but if he can't get healthy here soon, the trade deadline, week 6, is coming up. The Raiders, I think, are going to have to make a move at the edge rusher position, especially with Malcolm Koonce being out for the season. And like I said, we have yet to find that other edge rusher that can be productive and get to the quarterback consistently. I think that's what really changed this defense last season, was the emergence of Malcolm Koonce combined with superstar efforts of Max Crosby. But with Koonce being out for the season and Max Crosby, if he's going to be out some time, or if it's going to take him a little while to get at 100%, it's going to be super concerning for this team. And the Cleveland Browns are a team that are going to want to run the football against us. And like I said, that's something that we have not been able to do thus far. Now, the Raiders are coming off of a pathetic performance against the Carolina Panthers. We got absolutely destroyed on defense and on both sides of the ball. So I would expect this team, from an intensity standpoint, that they're going to be locked in. We're not going to see that shitty effort that we saw last week. At least that's what I'm expecting. The team held a meeting this week to kind of address what happened. So hopefully that's going to help from an intensity standpoint. But in the NFL, I mean, you don't win solely on intensity and being fired up, especially when you have 2 of your best players out for this game. So hopefully I'm wrong, but I think on the defensive line, we're going to be cooked. But we're going to have to find a way to see if we can get some production out of these young guys, and most importantly, find a way to stop the run, because if we can't do that, it's going to be hard to win this one, in my opinion. Now jumping to the offensive side of the football. Now the offense, for the most part this season, has been bad. The only time they've been good was in the second half against Baltimore, when they kind of went pass heavy, and we saw when this team was at its best performance was when we got Davante Adams heavily involved, and Brock Bowers as well. I was excited about this duo, but then we kind of go away from it the next week. So this offense also has a lot of question marks. We can't run the ball effectively. We're consistently behind the sticks, and it's going to be a hard situation for our quarterback, whether that be Minshew or O'Connell down the road. If we keep being put in these situations, the offensive line needs to get better. We'll have to see what the rotation, what the starting lineup up front will be this week. And Luke Getsy also, his play calling has been very questionable. So there's a lot of variables going into this game for this Raiders offense. And unfortunately, we're not going to have our best weapon out there, Davante Adams. And like I said, the best moments of this offense so far in this early season was that second half versus Baltimore when Davante Adams was heavily involved, but he will not be out there this week. The Raiders are going to have to find a way to have a competent running game. Unfortunately, though, that is not the strength of this team. I think we're going to have to pass the ball a little bit more, spread the offense out a little bit, put a little bit less strain on this offensive line. So it may be an approach where we're going to have to pass the ball a lot to kind of open up the run. But regardless, we need to find a way to get the running backs to have a solid game, to have a chance in this one. And with Davante Adams is a little bit weird. The injury kind of came out of nowhere. After the game during this week, we kind of noticed that he wasn't practicing. He seems to have some type of hamstring injury. You know, I don't want to speculate anything, but, you know, it's a little weird to me. But who knows? He is an aging wide receiver. Stuff like this happens. But on the offense, I mean, the good thing is we do have other weapons. We got Brock Bowers. We got Trey Tucker. We got Jacoby Myers. They're all solid pieces on this team, but there's no doubt they're going to have to come ready. They're going to have their best versions of themselves to try to substitute the lack of production we're going to get from a guy like Davante Adams. And it's shitty too with Davante Adams that he's not going to be out there, because even a guy like Davante Adams, if he's not 100%, he's another player where just him being out there on the football field is going to help this offense. Opposing defense are going to have to respect him as a player. They're going to have to match him up. They're going to have safety help over the top wherever he's lined up more times than not. So with him just not being out there as well, the opposing defenses aren't going to have to do that. And so far, our best weapon is Brock Bowers. So I expect the Cleveland Browns defense to kind of make it an emphasis to bracket him and try to limit his big plays. With Davante being now really the only deep threat we're going to have is Trey Tucker. So he should see a lot of snaps this game, and we're going to have to take advantage of him. We're going to have to hit him on some deep shots. Minshew was able to connect with him last game, so hopefully that can continue. But Raider Nation, there's no doubt these are two key pieces to this team that aren't going to be there in a must-win game situation as well. Going 1-3, that's brutal when it comes to your chances of making the playoffs. So there's no doubt the depth of this team is going to be tested this week. We'll just have to see how they respond out there. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of these injuries. But with that being said, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.